Hello students, welcome to Raaonline. Then a chapter is respiration under the headline of plant physiology, biology NCERT book class 11th. This discussion is question based and brief discussion of respiration topic for the rapid revision of this particular topic. The name of chapter is respiration. This is respiration. And better to say it is cellular respiration. It is cellular respiration. Respiration process is performed by all living beings. This process is performed by every living being. And by this process, every organisms get energy for other vital activities, to perform various vital activities. In respiration process, energy rich components like carbohydrates, fats, proteins, their intracellular oxidation takes place. These are all energy rich components of food. Their intracellular oxidation takes place with the release of energy. Intracellular oxidation takes place. Intracellular oxidation takes place with the release of energy. With the release of energy. This is called respiration. It is just like these three are just like a fuel. They are the fuel for our body. We can't use diesel, petrol or any other resources which are used in automobiles. They are also serve as energy source for them. But in human body or any living body, their body fuel is carbohydrate, fats and proteins. They are energy rich and they after oxidation release energy, and that energy is stored in the form of ATP. And these ATPs are readily available for other vital activities. That activity is called respiration. Respiration, two types. That is, if oxygen is used, then aerobic respiration. If oxygen is not used, then aerobic. If it is not used, then anaerobic. That is two types. Aerobic respiration, that is oxidation with the help of oxygen. If oxygen of external environment is used, then the type of respiration is aerobic. And if oxygen is not used, in that case type of respiration is anaerobic. And these carbohydrate, fats and proteins are respiratory substrate. They are called respiratory substrate. So question 1. Now, we start with the question number 1. Aerobic intermolecular oxidation. Intermolecular, that is in between two molecules. The inter, that is in between, intra, that is same. What is intermolecular oxidation? Take carbohydrates C6H12O6. For their oxidation, if oxygen is taken in, that is 6O2, get converted into 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus energy. See this one. Carbohydrate oxidation takes place with the help of oxygen. Oxidation of carbohydrate takes place with the help of oxygen. That is involvement of two different molecules. This is intermolecular oxidation. So we can say it is aerobic oxidation. Why oxygen is used? Oxygen is used for the complete oxidation of carbohydrate. That's what is called intermolecular. In anaerobic case, intramolecular, that is C6H12O6 without using oxygen of atmosphere get converted into C2H5OH plus 2CO2. In this case, only one molecule is there. So anaerobic respiration is intramolecular. Anaerobic respiration is intramolecular oxidation. Aerobic respiration is intermolecular respiration. So answer of first question is, that is aerobic oxidation of carbohydrate. Aerobic oxidation of carbohydrate. Then come to the second question. Here 1 gram molecule of glucose is given and the amount of energy is released in that one, that is 22870 kilojoule. This is the amount of energy. This is a data-based question, so directly that is for the oxidation, complete oxidation of C6H12. 1 gram means carbon 12 into 6, that is 72. Hydrogen 1 into 12, that is 12. 7 O6 is there only. O6, that is 16 into 6. That is for the oxygen, that is 96 and total is 180. That is 180 gram of glucose, that is equivalent to 1 gram molecule. If undergoes complete oxidation, releases this much amount of energy. Question number 3. For the complete oxidation essential condition, answer aerobic. Complete oxidation takes place in aerobic condition. Complete oxidation takes place in aerobic condition. What is complete oxidation? That is carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are formed from CO2 and H2O. By the respiration activity, they are splitted into the same form. They are splitted into the same one. That is by which they are formed. That is C6H12O6, carbohydrates. These are carbohydrates. If they are splitted at this level by which they are formed, this is complete oxidation. For their oxidation, oxygen is required. That's why the condition should be aerobic. Condition should be aerobic. In anaerobic respiration, incomplete oxidation takes place. In anaerobic condition, incomplete oxidation. Incomplete oxidation takes place in anaerobic condition. Question number 4. Aerobic respiration. The mechanism of aerobic respiration. Mechanism of aerobic respiration accomplishes in 3 phases. Part 1 glycolysis. Part 1 glycolysis. Part 2 link reaction. Part 2 link reaction. And part 3 is Krebs cycle. Krebs cycle. These are the 3 phase activity of aerobic respiration. And first one is glycolysis. First one is glycolysis. EMP pathway, that is other name for the glycolysis. EMP pathway or EMP is other name for glycolysis. Actually, it is a EMP pathway. EMP, Embedden Merhaf Paranas discovered, so that is EMP pathway. EMP pathway is more correct than EMP only. Glycolysis discovered by 3 fellows, Embedden, Mere half, mere half, mere half, and Parnas. Third fellow, Parnas. They reported EMP pathway. So, other name for the glycolysis is EMP pathway. Glycolysis is also called triosis. Glycolysis is also called triosis because by the process of glycolysis, hexose sugar, that is 6 carbon compound, forms pyruvic acid, 3 carbon compound, pyruvic acid. They form 3C compound, pyruvic acid, 2 molecule from 1 glucose. That is, hexose becomes triose. Hexose becomes triose. 6 carbon compound splits into 3 carbon compound, and how many molecules? That is 1 and 1. That is 2 molecules are there. So, hexose become triose by glycolysis. That's what is known as triosis. EMP pathway or glycolysis, first phase of any kind of respiration. I mean aerobic or anaerobic. Condition doesn't matter for EMP pathway. Condition doesn't matter for EMP pathway because it takes place in aerobic as well as in anaerobic condition both. It's a first phase of any type of respiration. Glucose is converted into pyruvic acid. Glucose is 6 carbon compound, pyruvic acid is 3 carbon compound. 6C becomes 3C by the process of glycolysis. 6C becomes 3C. That is glucose, 6 carbon compound. By the process of glycolysis, it forms pyruvic acid. Pyruvic acid, 3C compound. Pyruvic acid, 3C compound. Total 2 molecules are formed from 1 glucose. 2 molecules are formed from 1 glucose by the process of glycolysis. The word already suggests glyco, that is for glucose. Glyco for glucose, and lysis is word for the splitting. Lysis, that is for splitting. Splitting. Split, that is breakdown. Breakdown of glucose into pyruvic acid is glycolysis. Net gain of ATP in glycolysis. Net gain of ATP in glycolysis. Glycolysis I have already mentioned. Condition doesn't matter. By the process of glycolysis, glucose is oxidized into pyruvic acid. Pyruvic acid. 3 carbon compound and 2 molecules. During glycolysis process, 2 ATPs are consumed. 2 ATPs are consumed at initial stage. 2 ATPs are consumed at initial stage. There is a consumption of 2 ATP. Whereas 2 NAD are oxidized into 2 NADH2. That is oxidation. This is the oxidation. And 4 ATPs are directly produced. 4 ATPs are directly produced by substrate phosphorylation. By substrate phosphorylation. By substrate phosphorylation. Then only glucose is produced. Pyruvic acid is produced. So with this regard, if we ignore the condition, 4 ATP gross production, 4 ATP, this is gross production of ATP in glycolysis, but 2 ATPs are consumed. 2 ATPs are consumed in the beginning. Hence, net gain of ATP is 2. Net gain of ATP is 2. You have to refer the glycolysis. You must refer the glycolysis, then it is possible. And last slide, that is question number 6, net gain of ATP in glycolysis. Let's see what is glycolysis, then these questions are easily possible. This is representation of glycolysis. This is graphic representation of glycolysis. This is graphic representation of glycolysis. You see a molecule of glucose oxidizes into pyruvic acid. A molecule of glucose is oxidizes into pyruvic acid, 2 molecules. This is the various steps of glycolysis. These are the various steps of glycolysis by which glucose undergoes oxidation. You see, when glucose is converted into glucose 6-phosphate, that is use of 1 ATP. So we can minus if we calculate the ATP. 1 ATP is used here. Then see in the third step, again 1 ATP is utilized. So these two are the utilized, number of ATP utilized. Number of ATP utilized in the glycolysis, that is 2 ATP at initial steps. In initial steps, there is a use of 2 ATP. Now, as the process of glycolysis proceeds, see this one, first one. This is the first step where there is a direct synthesis of 2 ATP molecule. Direct synthesis of 2 ATP molecule, because these are the number of molecule of 1,3 biphosphate, that's 2 molecules. Here there is a synthesis of 2 ATP, same as in the last step 2 ATPs are formed. 2 ATPs are formed. So total number of 4 ATPs, these are formed by substrate phosphorylation. These are formed by substrate phosphorylation. Why it is called substrate phosphorylation? Phosphoenol pyruvate loses phosphate and converted into pyruvate. These phosphates are taken up by ADP. These phosphate which is lost by the phosphoenol, they are gained by the ADP. So ATP synthesis takes place. That is, there is a transfer of phosphate group at substrate level. There is a transfer of phosphate group at substrate level. So 4 ATP without any kind of loss. In that case, we say 4 ATP gross production of ATP in glycolysis. 4 ATP gross production. And that too, they are by which process? The answer is substrate phosphorylation. So we can write here gross production of ATP in glycolysis. Gross production of ATP in glycolysis, that is 4 ATP. That is 4 ATP. And they are by substrate phosphorylation. They are by substrate phosphorylation. What will be the net production of glycolysis? What will be the net production of glycolysis? In net production, 2 ATPs which are used in the first two initial steps, so they are reduced, then that is only 2 ATPs are there as net production. But without mentioning condition, And this is the only one oxidation step. This is only one oxidation step in which aldehydes, by this step aldehydes are oxidized, aldehydes are oxidized into acid. Aldehydes are converted into acid and oxidizer is NAD. So what is formed? NADH plus H is formed. NADH plus H is formed. And final product is pyruvic acid. Carbon dioxide does not evolve in glycolysis. There is no evolution of CO2 in glycolysis. There is no evolution of carbon dioxide in glycolysis. So we can write as glycolysis net gain of overall process. Net gain of overall process, 2 molecules of pyruvic acid. 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, that is net gain. 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, 2 NADH plus H, NADH plus H2 and then 2 ATP, 2 ATP. This is the net gain of glycolysis. This is net gain in glycolysis. This is the summary of glycolysis. Series of reactions take place. Series of reactions takes place and they take place in the cell cytoplasm. The site of glycolysis is cell cytoplasm and the entire process was described by EMP, that is Embedden, Meyerhoff and Pyranus. The process of glycolysis takes place in cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is the site of glycolysis. An enzymatic process. This process is enzymatic. So let's check the further questions. That a reaction of glycolysis occurs in. I have already mentioned this is cytoplasm is the answer. So reactions of glycolysis takes place in answer cell cytoplasm. Cell cytoplasm. The next question, that is glycolysis is that is 10 steps are there. Here 10 steps are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, this is 5th one, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10. Total 10 step process. 10 step process. So question number 10, 10 step process and formation of 3 carbon compound, that is pyruvate. This is exactly answer. But if you learn this cycle spatially, please learn this cycle, then only this pathway, then only you are able to answer such type of questions. That is 10 step enzymatic activity results in the formation of 3 carbon compound pyruvate. Net gain in glycolysis, that is all which are formed. I have already mentioned pyruvic acid, 2 molecules, ATP 2, NADH plus H, that is 2. This is the net gain of glycolysis. This is the net gain of glycolysis. You can also check by this particular reaction. See this one, glucose is converted into pyruvic acid. Glucose 6 carbon compound, pyruvic acid 3 carbon compound. So 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, then 2 ATPs are utilized but 4 ATPs are generated, hence net gain. Hence net gain is 2 ATP. Then meanwhile you see in oxidation step NADH plus H is generated. So finally our answer is pyruvic acid plus ATP plus NADH2. This is the net gain of glycolysis. Question number 10. NAD is reduced. NAD is oxidizer actually. NAD is oxidizer in glycolysis. Yeah, even in most of the steps of aerobic respiration. This is oxidizer. nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. NAD stands for nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. Nicotinamide. A for adenine. A for adenine. And D for dinucleotide. It is also called coenzyme 1. NAD is also known as coenzyme 1. And what is the role of NAD oxidizer? It is vitamin B3 derivative. Vitamin B3 derivative. Vitamin B3 derivative. Vitamin B3 derivative. That is niacin or nicotinic acid. That is niacin or nicotinic acid. Oxidizer in various steps of respiration. In glycolysis, let's come to back to that particular slide. That is in glycolysis C. That is, this is aldehyde converted into glyceric acid. Aldehydes are converted into acid by the oxidizer NAD. By the oxidizer NAD. So check the answer of this question. That is, this is aldehyde. This is aldehyde and is converted into acid. Aldehyde get converted into acid. At that time, what is used? That is NADH2. NAD is used as oxidizer. Okay? NAD is used as oxidizer. The actual step is actually 1,3-diphosphogyceraldehyde. They use NAD. They use NAD as oxidizer, converted into NADH2, that is hydrogen ions are removed. That's why the step is called oxidation. And what is formed? 1,3-diphosphogyceric acid. So that is aldehyde. Al for aldehyde and A for acid. Aldehydes are oxidized into acid with the help of an oxidizer that is known as NAD. That is known as NAD. The only oxidation step in glycolysis. Only oxidation step of glycolysis. Then this NADH2 is utilized by the mitochondria. This is utilized only by the mitochondria. That is, these H ions, that is proton plus electrons, are transferred to electron transport chain for the further processing. So here the question is only, that is reduction of NAD. Reduction, that is oxidizers are reduced when they participate in any oxidation reaction. Question number 11, that is number of carbon dioxide molecule produced in glycolysis. See this one. Glucose is 6 carbon compound. Glucose is 6 carbon compound and get converted into pyruvic acid. Get converted into pyruvic acid. Pyruvic acid. 3C compound, 2 molecule by the process of glycolysis. Glucose is converted into pyruvic acid. See this one. That is 3C plus 3C, then again they become 6C. So there is no evolution. There is no evolution of carbon dioxide. There is no evolution of carbon dioxide because 6C becomes 3C, but 2 molecules are formed. 2 molecules are formed. That's why carbon dioxide does not evolve in any step. You can also confirm from this particular cycle. See this entire activity, there is no decarboxylation reaction. No decarboxylation reaction is seen during glycolysis. No decarboxylation reaction is seen during glycolysis. So that's why answer is 0. Question number 12. Water is released when glucose undergoes for the glycolysis process. You will see a step in which 2-PGA is formed. Directly I am coming to that step, and you can refer the glycolysis series also. 2-PGA is formed. This 2-PGA releases water. This 2-PGA releases water. That is, a water molecule is released with the help of enzyme enolase. With the help of enzyme enolase, then PEP is produced. Phosphoenol pyruvate is produced. That is, this is the reaction in which there is a release of water. So see, check this one. That is, during glycolysis, water is released from. So see this one. That is 2-phosphoglyceric acid. 2-phosphoglyceric acid releases water, that is dehydration takes place, and what is produced, that is PEP. So my answer is for this question is 2-phosphoglyceric acid. 2-phosphoglyceric acid. And you can refer the glycolysis also.